Natasha?
Yeah, so I heard him say a key term. I think it was biological imperative, right? Um, what then comes to mind for me is okay, well, what about that gentleman's resources? And by resources, I don't necessarily mean financial, it's also an energy thing, right? So
Mhm.
now you're divvying up your resources, which if you're talking about finance, right, using financial principles, you want to diversify, right? Like that's actually a good thing. But then if you don't know how to diversify, it could also be a big problem. So I think a gentleman would be wise to keep that in mind from my perspective. But I'd love to hear what you think about that, Noble.
Why are you up?
Because I got some important shit going on here. What do you think?
Boom, the world class.
That's a good point. I mean, you definitely make a good point. With diversification, if we look at marriage as an investment, diversification, which would be polygamy, is an aspect. However, but if you suck at it, you could destroy everything. And I think that's why it's important to look at what his Andrew Tate's intent of asking that is to get men to stop being liars and stop entering in relationships before you're ready. Stop entering into anything before you're ready and actually be honest, because the young man is so passionate about, yeah, I mean, I really think that, you got to be to really build a family. It's one like you sound crazy when he asks you a question and now you stuttering about, oh yeah, I think I would. Are you really committed to it or not? And what's happening is a lot of these women that think they're getting a monogamous man is really just getting a liar. And if you can't be trusted, you're gonna fuck up all your fiduciary responsibilities. It's no, she need to diversify from your ass, and that's a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. When I hear him speaking and to young men, the intent to save these dudes is there, and about the things he said specifically, yeah, I mean, guys have a natural biological need to be with other women. I don't understand. I can just, and I don't understand why they lie. My thing is the lying. It's the lying for me. Because even if you're in a situation where you really you walk away from a live like this, you hear me talking, you like, I still want to be monogamous. Or you walk away on the other side, you're like, no, I don't want to be monogamous no more. Hey, hold up, you gave that woman your word though. You go, I'm polygamous. That doesn't give you carte blanche to just be never hold, your word. You still have to take care of this young lady. You still have to be responsible and respectable. You took her from her dad. No, I know that's ideal thinking. You took her from her dad's only place she come from, and now that you had to change your heart, you can't just switch and just run off and do whatever you want. So we teach honesty over here. So be a man. Man up, handle your responsibilities. I don't teach chasing the bag because why is it running from you? When you're valuable, it come to you. So they can chase the bag over there. It's interesting. A lot of people that chase the bag are unhealthy. So I don't know how much running you're doing. It doesn't look like it. That's a little. I gotta do my little bangs out there.
Bang, bang, bang,
On chasing the bag,
bang, bang,
bang, bang. On chasing the bag, my understanding is that gentlemen are about pursuit. I think women are too. So I think that's where that kind of term comes from, just my guess. To your point about men lying to themselves, it's very interesting as a construct. I think we still live in a society, and we will for at least another generation or two live in a society that upholds the idea of monogamy. Again, because I can't find the stats and the facts, I'm not sure why, other than that's what we're used to. But as we're seeing with Generation X, millennials, they're giving a lot of pushback on the idea of monogamy, right? So
Yes.
because they feel like they've been lied to, is it because they're more open to exploring different types of relationship dynamics? I'm not sure why, but again, at the end of the day, for me, my belief, no matter what relationship structure you decide to enter into, the honesty piece is key. Open communication is key. Also, being aware that as you grow over time as an individual, what you liked yesterday might not be what you like in 10 years from now. And that's also okay, right? But
Yeah.
if you have this habit of healthy communication, all of these
Mhm.
things can be worked through.
Absolutely. And I think that's my main key for these two topics, I think back to back. Whether you're talking about kink culture, BDSM, dominant and submissive, monogamy, polygamy, polyamory, polyandry, is have open, healthy, free flowing, equitable exchanges when it comes to communication. And it's important. It's something that we do a lot. I think the only thing we do more than talk is breathe, especially when it comes out our mouth. You know what I'm saying? And if you're reluctant and you don't have, if you can't speak, whether you're single or in a relationship, and it's gonna be pretty difficult to have any type of relationship. Because you, at this moment, we might have been before, we may be later. We're not psychic to the degree uh, that we can communicate with devices, and have to be honest. And you have so many men that are, and I hold it on. That's why I'm up here to kind of put it to the men to be honest and stop lying to this girl. To see a dude that is with a woman and then he's lusting over other women, but then saying I'm monogamous, it irritates me because you're a liar. You're not. You can't be there for her. I know she sees it, so she has to lie to herself that he really wants to be with me. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to watch. It's not healthy for a child to be raised in. And we bring these conversations because, again, I can't. I'm being redundant, I guess, but the honesty level is not there. The respect level is not there, and intolerable at this point. You know what I mean? Um, Savannah, yeah, I know you had stepped out, came back.
I definitely agree with the if you don't take anything else from the BDSM lifestyle, take the transparency and incorporate that into your relationship. That goes for everyone. I know the contractual agreements seem kind of out there, but in most marriages, the only commitment you have to each other on paper, your vows and prenuptial agreements. That's pretty much it. And we know most people are not doing that, to the T anyway. So
Thanks.
being upfront is so important. That saves you a lot of trouble on the back end. It keeps relationships together. If you're afraid to lose the woman, that's probably not the woman for you anyway. So if you can't be upfront in the beginning of the relationship, you're just going to be lying for years and years to come. I also think women are lying to themselves in the sense that they can fulfill one man's desires. And I think maybe a couple centuries ago that would have been feasible. But now, when we have women who are refusing to lose weight, you don't want to look your best, you don't want to be your best, how are you then demanding monogamy? If you're going to do that, I would advise you to,
Mm.
at least work on yourself. Give the man something to commit to. So I think there needs to be transparency and honesty on both sides, for sure.
Yes, Jenny agrees. She said, yes, I enjoy the transparency of that lifestyle. No BS between partners. That's what I advocate over everything. Over,
Mhm.
I'm passionately against monogamy, passionately. But what's more important than that is honesty. And the great takeaway that you can have is, even if you're a guy, you're like, look, I'm monogamous. This nigga think I'm a sub. Whatever. Be honest about that. If you're not a sub or whatever, when you met your girl, she wasn't the one you was really like. They need to understand that. Like it was somebody else I was really looking to be with, but it just happened to be you because of circumstances. I think she needs to know that because this is her life too.
Mhm.
And it's clear to see who's a real man in this space and who's not. Um, and integrity is everything. A lot of these dudes don't even mention integrity unless they're talking to a female or talking about a female. But I think that's the one thing you guys can take away from it if you don't agree with me in terms of what's how to live, how to run a relationship, how marriage is supposed to go. Said it's supposed to be honest, it's supposed to be transparent. Um, Got to be in a space where this person that you live next you live next to in the bed that gonna smell all your farts, that you're gonna tussle with covers with, that's gonna get up in the morning, put on your drawers or put on your shorts, washing your clothes, cleaning your leftovers up. Like there needs to be like, and it's scary because I see people, especially so-called monogamous people, saying, "I need my private space." When you were single and you lived by yourself, what did you have? You gave that up when you said, "Yeah, let's live together, let's marry." Like you don't have that no more. And I just don't really think that that's a healthy thing to do. Why is this person with you day in day out when you don't have that private space? You gave that up. You were a child, remember? You had that time. You all that private time before y'all met. It's over because a marriage is not about you. When you in polygamy or monogamy, it's about your families. It's not about, it's not about you. Y'all been here benefiting. Y'all being all of us being here, you've been benefiting from all of these people participating. All these people have kept you safe. All these people have made sure food was in a restaurant, gas was in these gas stations, and the kind of payback is produce another person to contribute to that. It's really not about you. You had that time. You go, "Oh, I need it again." I get that, but at some point we got to be adults. At some point you got to give back. You know what I'm saying? And when I say private, I don't mean, "Oh, I gotta tell him what color." I gotta tell him that I'm deciding between these three colors for my nails. Um, a friend called once out of the blue. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it's being pushed entirely too much to have this so-called private or alone time when this person has left everybody else. And this is just monogamy now. They've left everybody else, all these potential good people. They're just you, and then now they have these pockets in time. Sometimes it's most of the time that the husband or the wife don't want to be around them for whatever reason. Go ahead. You look like you want to say something. What you saying?
No, I'm just giggling. Private time in my relationship, there is alone time, but then there's also, I mean, I won't go into it, like private time, adult time, playtime, right? So there's two different contexts in which to think about it. But I think from a strategic perspective, there is a space for someone to take strategic time away from the person they're coupled with. And it doesn't mean like weeks, right? Like even if
Right.
it's them going golfing, or I'm being super stereotypical, the lady doing her nails in one of the three different colors you mentioned, right? To have that time to strategically process thoughts, ideas, conversations, and then come back into your couple, into your team in a re-energized kind of way, I think is important too. Like there's some validity in that as well.
So I agree with everything you're saying. That's why I phrase things the way I phrase it, because we learn religion from, we learn marriage from religion. And all of those things are well woven into what you get, at least from the cultures that come from religion. All of that is there. It's at rest time because you had to develop yourself spiritually to be the person that God, Allah, Krishna, Elohim, Yahweh Shah wanted you to be in the first place. So it's still no private time. It's still with you and God. People don't forgetting that the marriage is really, again, it's not about you. So the private time is really over because, yeah, I need that time to process. I really need to think. I need to rest. But then if it's not the spouse, it's God. And if it's not God, it's your nation. And if it's not your nation, it's your child. So if you take a break from your spouse and you have children, did you really get a break? Because they something else. There's no breaks. When that baby come, ain't no breaks. It's just everything counts against you. You can chill and not play, but clothes are going to be tore. Sores are going to be had. They're going to bump their knee. They're gonna want some. They seen some new commercial. They want to eat. You gonna have to get up. I know. I thought you just ate, but then this week they just having a growth spurt. Like it's just You know what I'm saying? What I was speaking to is that we see these couples. I've seen these couples. A lot of the women, mainly females. I just need a space. I need a break. Then you don't need to be a mother. You don't need to. You don't need to be in that space because it's over. When you're a team player, and you like they tell us, right? They've been telling us as men when you get in a monogamous relationship, all that playing shit is over. Like you can't just be doing stuff, leaving the house, jumping up, leaving the house without telling her. You cannot do that. Monogamy or polygamy, you can't just hop up, run, go play with your boys, and not speak to her. You got to know what you're doing, because if something happened to you, how crazy is she gonna look and feel? I don't even know where he's at. You in another state. Like, so if it's that way, it has to be that way abroad. So, and I bring those two things together because I see monogamy as 1,000 times more dangerous than feminism, because of the mindset that you have to be in to be monogamous. When most women, 99% of women are not like you, Natasha. They're not. You think, but if you ask, you can do your own test. You can show them this video and it will still happen. If you ask most so-called black females, I don't call them women, if you ask them, why do they want to be the only one? Why are they in monogamy? They will tell you, because I'm selfish, because I don't share dick. That's what they're going to tell you. That's not a virtue. It's not an asset. Why do you get this truck? Oh, because I like to crash my car a certain way. Like, you don't need to drive. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might want to get the bus. It's a negative. I don't know. What y'all think? My God, what's up, B2B? He said team monogamy. You definitely hit that see, and y'all know Jenny is just the sweet. She said I haven't had a full night's sleep since 2008, and I'll sleep in 10 years maybe. Yeah, it's over. And when you have a child, and I equate marriage and having children. It's the same thing. That's what it always used to be. Now we involve in the state. You know what I'm saying? A child is what they say that a marriage is, the coming together of two people. That's a child. It's verbatim what a child is. That's what I think it is. So if you got a lady with more than one baby daddy, is she monogamous anymore? I see y'all wheels turning. Go ahead.
You said some interesting things thus far. I think that sometimes when women emphasize the need to want to be alone in a relationship, I always think, are there issues in terms of compatibility, or is the man maybe a little too clingy? I do think I'm more traditional minded, and I do think that, once a woman has kids, that she should predominantly stay at home. And if the man, whether he works from home or outside of the home, that is your alone time, essentially. So needing more alone time outside of, your husband being at work is kind of alarming, to want to get away from the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. I think that's kind of something to think about. But I do understand the concept of wanting time to yourself, definitely. But once you're in that type of relationship and that commitment, it's about the unit. You can't be selfish anymore.
Miss Vincent?
Yeah, I think with a lot of what we've covered so far this morning, it goes to show the importance of self-awareness, right? So we talked a lot about healthy communication, making sure you're mature and all that sort of stuff. But you can't do any of those things or even process the idea of alone time versus teamwork time, or making sure the team is a priority, unless you know yourself as a player in that team, right? Just to use that, or to carry the analogy. So I'm just encouraging folks to be constantly working on self, right? Doing self work. And that's not a selfish thing per se, because you're doing it for the benefit of your family, for the benefit of your spouse. Because if you're not aware of yourself, you can just be doing all sorts of things, being super random, and not being as effective as you could be in your partnership, in your coupledom, in whatever relationship dynamic you've decided to be in. And then, like, what is the actual point of that? You're just wasting time.
This is a very interesting
We
conversation.
got one more video.
Oh boy.
I know. It's not as ghetto as it could be, but it's because of y'all. Y'all keeping it. All right, so we got this. That's the last video that I had queued up, and it's some other things that you wanted to address, Savannah. I think I'm gonna look at your notes in a second. Check this out.
Anything else?
One second.
Procreation. Anything else? That's extra. The female reproductive cycle comes around once a month. For a man, it's every day. For each sexual act, the woman's one egg is matched by the man's 120 million sperm cells. Now let's do some calculation. 120 million sperm cells a day, every day, as opposed to one egg a month, every month, means, assuming all the cells are viable, that it will take only 30 men to impregnate all the women in the world. This points to one clear fact. A man is, by nature, polygamous. Monogamy and fidelity are unnatural situations promulgated by religious beliefs and social pressures. Take those away, every man would cheat. It's simply biological. Now let's look at the extra. It's a known fact that women, for the most part, are more emotional than men. So it's natural that after a sexual encounter, she'll be attached. But because a man is visual and logical in nature, there's no emotion involved. For him, it's just a physical release that's got nothing to do with love. A man loves his woman by protecting and providing for her. Period. It's really quite simple. For a man, the physical and the emotional, two separate entities. Thank you.
Oh, Lumide.
Yes,
Oh, wow. I like the things that she said. Oh, I like it. What do you think? What do you think about the things she said? I like these things. Oh, wow. What you think? What you think, Natasha? You go first.
So I don't think we've tackled it so far as a topic, but it's always so curious to me how these conversations always delve on, for lack of a better word, the genitals. I'm going to be super clinical. We always get this conversation down to the intimate time that you're going to be spending with this other person. Relationship dynamics, especially if, whether it's polygamy or monogamy, if you're in it for the long term, you've got to think past your pants, everyone. So I don't know, like, it's an interesting argument in terms of the numbers. I just wish that these conversations would extend beyond the pants when we're talking about monogamy, polygamy, relationship dynamics in general.
Okay, Savannah, because I'm actually going to do that.
That's an interesting point. Whenever I hear talk about genitalia, I just automatically attribute that to explaining biology, and it just so happens we have to, talk about intimacy. But I do agree that, that's lacking in this type of space. Talking about things beyond just the bedroom. So I think that's also one of the reasons why people are quick to knock polyamory and other types of lifestyles, because they do see that it's so sex focused. So yeah, if Noble, if you could expand on that would be great. Hi, Jay.
Good day, Jay Ali. Yeah, like I said, the mindset of a person that is monogamous has proven to me to be at least 1,000 times more dangerous than feminism. Y'all blame feminism for what monogamy created. The mindset of, I'm selfish. Let's just leave the genitalia out of it. I don't want you to be with another person for what? To accomplish what? What can you argue to me for me to stop dealing with other people that are valuable. Like, what could you possibly say? Are you the only person on the planet? Is it like you've matched the genes to make sure that you and me match forever? You haven't done that. It's about a consumer experience. It's about watching a bunch of Disney movies and give this person this entitlement that you can control another person, which should be everybody's red flag when your skin is brown. When you deal with two brown skinned people in North America, for one person to participate in controlling the other person when that's what you whine about the white man doing. That should be like, why am I triggering this person? Because their genes has been controlled for the last 300, some of y'all say 400 years. The mindset of, I don't want you to go do, here's the mindset. You only love me if you do what I want you to do. Mindset. You're a woman, you know it's abusive to you for me to try to convince you to do things that you don't want to do. But everybody knows that males like to be polygamous. But you'll guilt trip me. That's why I put that clip in, because it was about cheating. Constantly telling a man that he's wrong for doing what nature designed him to do. When nature, the food that we eat, operates in a polyamorous type of way, flowers don't just go to one flower. Like the pollen from flowers don't go to one. This planet only exists through polyamory. It doesn't exist through monogamy. It doesn't operate like that. The animals you eat don't operate like that. Plants you eat don't operate like that. Your face don't work like that. You don't inhale only. You don't exhale only. It's a poly relationship with everything. The atoms in your face. We don't have to talk about the genitalia. We can talk about the foundation of creation. I'm pretty good at this.
I like the nose and the breathing analogy. I think where I was going with the comment too, though, is I wish there were more conversations about what serves the vision best, right? So if we're all in agreement that the gentleman is the one who leads the house, has the vision for the house, for the team, and has an ultimate legacy goal, is monogamy going to serve that goal well? Is polygamy going to serve that goal well? Are there things that are going to be obstacles in either of those scenarios or any other scenario to meet that legacy goal or distract from that legacy goal? Like that, to me, should be the conversation. But,
yes, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. That's why I mentioned that I think that monogamy is a kink, which is me saying a percentage that it'll work with, like 10%. You know what I'm saying? 10% of the population could probably be doing it, or less. 90-10 rule type of thing. And I think 10% or less, that situation will work. You got a lot of people that are dismembered. You got a lot of people with disabilities. You got a lot of people with mental issues. You got a lot of people that are that hate people, can only deal with one person. Yeah, I think it's a kink. And honestly, I really don't see how most people, it's like, if we look at the so-called Black community, this has been the standard for last 60 years. And we've definitely been on a decline. And we think because now we can be on Facebook that we're ascending, and we're not. We're clearly declining. We've murdered 24,146 children. I'm sorry, 24,114,000 children in 60 years. For the most part, it's because a mom want to feel like she's good enough to be the only one, and when she can't, I'm gonna just kill this little child thing so I can continue to be myself and have fun. Like, the mindset is what's killing me. Mindset of the foundation of our households and the results we have leads us to say that monogamy isn't it. It can't be it, and it never was. And what culture where we were these kings and queens was monogamy this prevalent?
All right. I'm sorry, I got lost in a train of thought of just all that goodness I just heard.
We didn't do this because we like you. We did this because we are you.
Boom, the world class.